Hello all, welcome to our ZoidRush video. I'm your host, Tmzoids, also known as Tony, and today we're going to be talking about gaming culture, gamers, kind of a mixed match of things. Before I start this video, I just want to do a quick shout out to a YouTuber that's no longer with us for a little bit now, who nailed these types of videos. His name was Total Biscuit on YouTube, and he just nailed these types of videos and commented always on these issues and made videos about these issues and just hit it on the head. And I would say he's like one of the top YouTubers when I think about it when it comes to these types of issues. So if you watched his videos in the past, you kind of know where this video is going. And I also made a video somewhat similar to this a long time ago, so hopefully it's better than that one. That's the goal. So gaming culture, where do we start with this? I'm going to rewind a little bit to going all the way back to EA's mess up. Which one? You're asking. Well, the one with Star Wars Battlefront with the loot box system. This is probably the most notable one. I know EA messes up a lot, messes up your favorite games, and EA just doesn't know what they're doing. They're driven by money. Rah! But this isn't an attack on EA. This is specifically with their loot box system, and when Star Wars Battlefront was being announced, everybody was pretty much up in an uproar and frantic about how the loot system or the loot box system was working within the Battlefront Star Wars game. And I mean, this got uproar from all the gamers. Reddit posts, there was news articles about it. It just seemed like there was a big pushback finally on EA that, hey, we're not going to accept this type of behavior. We're not going to accept this type of game. You're either going to change it or we're just not going to buy it. And I mean, a lot of people have pledged, oh, we're not going to buy it. And this is kind of the first time, and memes were made about it also, of course, but this was the first time you had the PlayStation and or Xbox people uniting together for one. I don't know, it just seemed funny. So as time went on, of course, EA tried to save face a little bit and changed its system a little bit to better understand its gamers, better to understand its player base, right? So as time went on, things kind of died down like always, and things kind of get left in the dust, and all of a sudden it was that time of the year that EA was like, alright, our game's coming out. And we waited, and lo and behold, an article was posted, and EA was disappointed with its outcome of selling the game. I think it sold over like 2 million copies or 3 million copies, and I'm just sitting here like, maybe EA's just playing into the gamers, like, okay, gamers, you won, you did it, good job. Because I'm sitting here thinking, if you sold 3 million copies, and we're taking the retail price of, just in the United States right now, of $59.99 when a new game comes out usually, that's $60 a game. And you're telling me you sold over 2 million copies, 3 million copies, and that was a major loss, a major defeat in the EA selling realm. Maybe it wasn't as much as you expected, because it was popular. It had a lot of traction. Star Wars right there was actually doing well with the movies, and then the game, finally a better game than the ones they were producing in the past, and there was hope for it. And yeah, so once again, gamers, I think, fell short. What do I mean by that? Is I feel like they believed in something that the company was doing that was wrong, doing something that they didn't believe in, and they stood up. They took a time, They took a stand and fought for, a better game, a better system, a better outcome for the game. And of course, like I said, EA did make changes to its loot box system. But overall, I feel like the gamers then gave in, or time just went on and people kind of forgot, what was going on, and ended up buying the game anyway, and EA kind of came out with a win, all in all. And I think over time, of course, if the game became on sale and became less money, I'm sure other people swooped up the game and was like, alright, well, even though with the loot box system it's only $40 or blah blah blah, some way to justify buying the game in the future. Maybe not at full retail price, but definitely in the future where it was less money. So going from there, I'm going to be talking about Call of Duty is my second example. And the second and third example kind of mesh in together. and it has to stem with the Hong Kong stuff. This is not any way a political thing. This is not my take on the political stuff. This is not me telling you one way or another. This is just another example of a very popular gaming series, I guess, that gamers kind of give into and just kind of keep feeding into. And starting with Call of Duty, of course, is owned by Activision, yes. So you also have people who had the Hong Kong stuff going on that were revolting Activision slash Blizzard, and I think a lot of people fell short thinking about Activision as a company. They were more focused on Blizzard and the Hearthstone, sorry, than also Activision as a company being part ownership and or owning part of Blizzard. But anyway, besides that, Call of Duty has made reskin after reskin of games. I'm not just picking on Call of Duty. I know other shooting games. You could bring in Battlefield, you could bring in other games that have made reskin after reskin after reskin of the game. So every year they release a new game. And the reason I talk about this one is gamers game to an all-time low, or accepted such an all-time low of the franchise, in my opinion, when even my brother bought the game for Christmas, was Call of Duty, I think it was Black Ops 4. Maybe misquote me, I'm sorry. But it was the last Call of Duty, not before this one, that had no single player. You bought the game solely for multiplayer purposes. So I spent $60 on a game for multi-purpose, just to play online. So then, when my brother got it for Christmas or whatever, he opens it up, loads in the thing. He could not play the game because he didn't have the PlayStation Plus, program. So then he had to spend like $10 or $20. So now you're at $80 for a game just to play multiplayer. There was no storyline. It was just online. And what I really am frustrated with Call of Duty is the lack of, creativity. They don't let the old games kind of phase out. They just throw another reskin game. It's like, how many Call of Duty Modern Warfares have we had now? Like 4, 5? It's like, how many times you can rename the same game? A little bit different, maybe a little bit better graphics, maybe a little bit this or more interaction here. But other than that, I'm like, what the heck? But the big thing with Call of Duty Black Ops, which I know is a little bit later, or not most recent, it was only a year ago, 2 years ago tops, is that you came out with maybe 6 maps, 5 maps here or there, and zombies, of course, and that was it. And then, of course, knowing Call of Duty, they release a DLC. But the DLCs now cost you $10, $15, maybe even $20, depending on the DLC, for 3 additional maps that they could have gave to you for free, maybe another zombies or 2 zombie maps that you could have had. It's stuff like this that gamers keep just taking and keep accepting, and they just never really fight back. Yeah, you could be like, well, I bought the game but I didn't buy the DLCs, but I'm like, well, they already won. They already got $60 of your money, and then the game's pretty much useless now because anybody that bought the DLC you can't play with any of those maps. So if your friend buys it and they're like, oh man, then the new nuke is great and you got to play this map, and then peer pressure comes in and you end up buying the first one and maybe not the second one or whatnot. So you're like, you just keep accepting this. Why couldn't Call of Duty just give you all the maps? Why couldn't there just be an update of the game that, oh, here's an extra map, here's an extra 2 maps, here's a new zombie map, and that, lo and behold. But no. They gotta suck you for all your money, which kind of leads me into the storyline aspect of things for games, and it's not Call of Duty. This is known for many games, is that we pre-order and we buy games that seem good. We've seen it kind of people get away from this, but there was like an era or a time where gaming companies would use non-actual footage, like real CGI footage that didn't even look realistic to what gaming standards could be in a PlayStation and or Xbox at the time. It was like literally movie type graphics, which had nothing to do with the game. They would play through it or throw the trailer out there, and then lo and behold, the game comes out and it looks like dog shit. The story was awful and the story's not completed, and lo and behold, we pre-ordered it or we bought it because it looked so good, and then we ended up being disappointed because all in all, we didn't get the full story. So then they're like, okay, well, we didn't finish the story. Here's the DLC. And you're like, well, that's not how this should be. And there's memes made about it too. So gamers know this happens. Gamers know all this stuff is going on, and we just kind of just let it happen as it goes, which we'll talk about on the other side in a second here. So with Call of Duty, they did add a storyline with a new Modern Warfare, and then there's multiplayer, of course, and all that jazz. But still, it's like, I don't even know. Like, I was mad that I bought that for him for Christmas, because I was like, oh, I didn't know if it was just, I should have did more research being a gamer. But I was like, this is the one time there's no storyline. And he's like, I don't rarely play online. I play for the story mostly. He does. You're like, the Call of Duty story. But anyway, I digress. It's just frustrating to see, that games aren't finished, games aren't being, completed, and people are already spending money on it, pre-ordering it, and or being disappointed and being kind of misled with the trailer. I mean, like I said, gaming companies have gotten a little bit better with that when they say this is not actual game footage, which is good, so that's a plus. It's just, I think it gives you a warped reality of what you're really expecting, and then when you get the game, not only does the game look like crap, it doesn't even finish the storyline. The storyline's incomplete. There's a lot of holes, there's a lot of gaps. It doesn't keep you intrigued anyway, and you're just misled. And gaming companies that are just feeding off that, they keep making more and more money. That being said, nice little transition from Call of Duty, which is also owned by which is also in part with Blizzard. Like I said, this is not a political thing. This is not my stance on it. This is just an example of gamer culture, gaming ideals. Is the Hong Kong incident that recently happened with Blizzard. If you don't know what's going on, very short description is pretty much a Hearthstone player was being interviewed. He, expressed his, political side, was saying free Hong Kong. And then Blizzard was like, whoa, 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 we're not going to have a part of that. Cut him his winnings and banned him from tournament play and all that stuff. And then there's major uproar leading to this. So in protest, a lot of people were protesting Blizzard games. On top of that, they went on to another level and actually deleted their Blizzard account, and there's an uproar about that because Blizzard was now asking for identification, and you need an ID, and most, if you think about younger people, I don't think like a 14, 15-year-old is going to have an ID, so then you would have to like get your mom involved and all this, so they were putting in all the stops, as you can say, from deleting your account. Now, this is interesting enough, is that this is how this whole video started and stemmed. So, once again, a lot of people, and I know people, friends and whatnot, that have said, I'm protesting Blizzard, I'm not playing any Blizzard games. But now we're going to transition, which is a good transition, to the other side. So the reason this video even started is I was scrolling through Twitter, or social media, and I was scrolling through, and some guy had a screenshot of r/WoW subreddit, and it was pretty much a guy going, hey, I deleted my account about 2 weeks ago in the Hong Kong protest. How do I get my account back? I want to play for the Halloween event in Overwatch. And, he wants the Blizzard Halloween event stuff he wants to play for. So he's like, this is exactly what I was talking about when it comes to Modern Warfare and Blizzard. That was literally his tweet, because he talked about it, I guess, in a video or something. I didn't dive deep of where that stemmed from, but that's what the screenshot interested me. So it was the gaming culture, the gamers. And this is the other flip side now, because I know there's arguments for the other side, is, first off, how long is the protest go for? Because most likely Blizzard and or Activision is not going to change their stance on what they did. They're not going to rewind anything, even with all the protests and all the people that deleted their accounts and people not playing their games and whatnot. They end up not changing any of their decisions. They kept the guy. They took his winnings. They banned the guy. They didn't unban him. They didn't try and save face. They did a poor excuse of an apology, just like anybody else on the internet. But they did it at BlizzCon. They still did BlizzCon. And there's protests there. So there's people still protesting. So, but there was other people, gamers, who said, all right, well, the protest is going on, this political stuff that is going on. I'm a gamer. That's what I do. I play video games to escape the real world. It doesn't matter what's going on or who owns the game or what the company did. If I enjoy the game, I'm playing it. I'm a gamer, which is fair enough. Like I said, this is where the EA stuff comes in, the Call of Duty stuff, because there's just it's like the Call of Duty hardcore fans versus the Battlefield people. I'm a Call of Duty fan. I don't like Battlefield. Or I like Battlefield. I don't like Call of Duty. And you support that brand, and you've bought every single one. And a lot of people were, the stereotypical meme of the teenage kids that are playing on there that were like, I'm doing your mom tonight, I hope you get fucked. And, they're playing, and there goes my monetization, even though I don't monetize videos anymore right now. Can't, anyway. But anyway, so you got that going on, and then you had Blizzard. So BlizzCon happened, and I was actually surprised, to be honest. I was like, okay, well, this is going to affect BlizzCon. I'm surprised that I don't see protests and I don't see everything going on. And lo and behold, BlizzCon was pretty packed. And even within BlizzCon, there was people that attended to BlizzCon and then also protested in a way. The Q&As were going on, and at the end there would always be a few people were like, free Hong Kong, and then one little kid came up, I remember. He was like, oh, can I get on the mic, and he comes up to him and he's like, free Hong Kong, and then he just walks away. I'm just like, oh, okay. And then you also had protests outside of Blizzard. There's a few people's shirts and everything that were anti-Blizzard, free Hong Kong and whatnot. But like I said, we're gamers. We went in to play. We paid for the BlizzCon tickets. We still attended BlizzCon. We didn't revolt. We didn't get our tickets back. We didn't not show up. So there was a lot of people that showed up. A lot of people hyped. A lot of people gained this great, like, oh, we love Blizzard all of a sudden. For the people who like the Diablo 4 and the Overwatch 2 and then the new World of Warcraft expansion, all this stuff that was announced. People are losing their mind. They're like, oh my god, Blizzard is amazing. They're finally giving us what I want. And then you go back to social media and people are complaining. They're like, the same people that are protesting the Hong Kong thing are the same people that are hyped for these games. That was the big thing, because I typed in, before I made the video, I typed in the Hong Kong Blizzard ordeal, and I was scrolling through, and a lot of the comments now are like, same people, look at these clowns that are protesting for Hong Kong, but still wanting to buy these Blizzard games. So I understand. That's the big argument here, is the other side is, hey, we're gamers. It doesn't matter what these companies do outside of the game. If I enjoy the game, if it be World of Warcraft, Diablo, or Modern Warfare, I'm going to play it. I'm going to enjoy it. That was another thing. Like I said, Activision was part of, Blizzard. So Modern Warfare got released, and all these people, big streamers, are playing it. It's like all these big people are playing it. They're having fun. There's clips of it. You had Ninja playing it. You had other streamers that I know that were playing it and just having a blast playing it, which, encourages their audience to buy and engage there, because then you want to play or hope you get in a queue with, the big player on Call of Duty. So overall, there's just we are gamers thing, but we also have to have a standard, I think. We have to have a, what will we tolerate as a gamer, and what will we just say, no, this is too much, and stand by it, like, honestly stand by it. I feel like we have a lot of power as a consumer still. I feel like if we stood up, fought for what we enjoyed and what we liked, I think that gaming companies would kind of change and adapt to what we want, because, we're the ones buying it. If nobody's buying the product, then the product's not successful. And I think that's why, over time, you had, a good example would be World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft was this great product, or what people. So overall, I just wanted to say, I know we're gamers. I know we enjoy video games. We don't want to get involved in the political stuff. We want to just escape. That's what we enjoyed most about gaming. Having fun with our friends or playing on our own. Whatever the case may be, that's what gaming makes. That's what gamers love, enjoy. If it'd be streaming on Twitch or playing, like I said, playing by yourself or grinding out and playing on Discord with a few friends or even having friends over when you had LAN parties and all that, that's what people enjoyed. That's what people liked. And yes, those are things that it is a hard balance. It's going to be always a hard balance, I think. I always feel like we're always going to have an uphill battle now. I'm not even talking about mobile games, but just games that we have on the systems. And it's a culture that we're starting to more and more adapt to. And I feel like we're just getting more and more crammed in a box. And eventually, there's going to have to be a stop to it. There's going to have to be somewhere, some line that people are going to be like, okay, I like the idea you're going with, but can we do this? And there has to be companies, and there are companies that listen to us, enjoy our feedback, and take everything we say to heart. And that's it. That's what it comes down to, is that, yes, we are gamers, but at the same time, there are things that are morally, that we have to morally stand up to, that we morally feel like is obligated. Not, like I said, the political stuff, but also stuff that, it's like, okay, you're really trying to squeeze and take every penny I have, especially since you have games that have like a new release every week, every year. We could take EA, we could take Call of Duty. Those are games that have every year a new title, and it's like, all right, you give us a new title, then give us a full game. Why in that full game do I have to go and buy a DLC? And a perfect example to that would be Counter-Strike. Counter-Strike has released multiple maps, made changes to their maps, kept their maps fresh, new, kept the content new, and people still play Counter-Strike, and not to the extent that it was, but it also kept things fresh and new. Yes, they had the loot box system in there. I'm not saying Counter-Strike did not, with the keys and the boxes and everything, but it did not affect the game. It was just for skins. It was for the knives and all that stuff. And overall, I think if Counter-Strike was like, oh, here's a few new maps, and we did. There were new maps that you had to pay for, but at the same time, there's also maps that were released with updates and whatnot that were free. So it was like you didn't always get gypped out with CSGO, where compared to Call of Duty, it's like, okay, well, we have 3 new maps, but it's a DLC. And it costs $10, $5. It just adds up, and it's just frustrating that people are going to spend $60 originally for a game, and then come out to be maybe $70, $80, depending on how much you like the game, how much you enjoy the game, and you end up spending that much money for the DLCs, and lo and behold, it's like, that should have been in the original game. Why do we have to pay extra for that? But anyway, I know it's been a mixed match of things and whatnot. I hope I did both. I know I was pretty critical on the one side, but I do want to say, like I said, I understand. We're gamers. We don't want to be involved with this. We don't want the political stuff. We don't want to press too much. I enjoy the game. That's what matters. And that ultimately is what matters. If you enjoy the game, you like what you play and like what you see, that's it. That's what it should come down to. But at the same time, it's like, okay, well, they're just going to keep taking. They're going to keep taking. And then eventually we're going to have to say, or do something. Like the protest. How long will the protest go on for? Will people come back when the new games come out? Maybe once Hong Kong and China figure out their own thing, is that when the protest is over? Are they expecting Blizzard to, officially change their stances on things in the future? What are the things that people are looking for? I think that's the big thing too, is that as gamers, yeah, we all stand up together, but there being online, the anonymity of it all, where is the, who's the spokesperson then? What are the goals that we're focusing on? What are the goals that we're looking towards? And those are the main things. I feel like gaming culture is weird like that. It's like, okay, well, you guys don't like this, but you're playing something very similar or doing the same thing with this company. It goes back to the Fortnite joke. It's like, I hate Fortnite, but you're then playing the same thing with you know, Apex, or what was the other 20,000 Steam games that there was? Steam Legends or Stream Legends or something like that. And it's like, okay, I guess, fair enough. It's like the Call of Duty versus Battlefield thing again. But anyway, y'all, that's it. That's all for this video. I'll see you guys next time. And as always, make sure you leave a like on this video. Please subscribe if you enjoyed this type of content. And, you know, leave a comment if you've made it through this video again. Goodbye, y'all.